Welcome to Mental Health Breakthroughs for Young Adults and Families. I'm your host, Carey Conley. This podcast is dedicated to helping young adults navigate through the challenges and learning curves that they're experiencing in every area of life. My personal episodes will be dedicated to helping you with getting clarity, direction, moving through adversity, and living with purpose and hope. I will also be bringing you amazing guests to discuss topics such as finances, career choices, relationships, grief, addiction, positive mindset, mental health, and more. I am on a mission to help you live a life that you love and have the confidence to go after your dreams. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Mental Health Breakthroughs for Young Adults and Families. I am very excited to introduce you to my guest today. This is a gentleman that I did not know a year ago, and in a short 6 to 8 months, we've become not only very, very good friends, but business partners in the launch of what I've been mentioning to you. It's called Vision is Victory Academy, which we're going to talk a lot about today. But this is my friend, Brandon Hintz, and I am so excited to have you here. Brandon is known as the Impact Maker. He has a community called the Now Academy, where he helps people personally grow, professionally grow, build communities, and mostly create a positive mindset. So I'm so excited you're here.
Thank you.
I'm
excited to be here. Until I got off the plane, it was 107 degrees at 11 a.m.
It's a little hot in Arizona right now. Yeah, I was in Daytona last week, and it was beautiful. And I got here, and it was 115. So you're getting a little bit of a break.
No bueno.
No bueno.
No bueno.
Yeah, this is, people ask me all the time, because I moved here from Colorado, why I would do that. Why would I leave Colorado?
Especially from Colorado.
Yes.
Where the high is like 102.
Exactly.
Ever.
Yes. So, but I love it here. You deal with the heat. It's just like dealing with the winter in Colorado. I'd rather have that. So yeah. It's okay.
I think at the same time, too, that I'd rather have a little bit of snow with a nice summer.
Yeah.
Than the summer here with no snow.
Well, see, to each his own,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's kind of a funny story how you and I met. It's a God thing. I keep telling you that.
It always is.
Yes, that we were both at an event called Tag Talks. You're a part of that, teaching speakers how to monetize what they're doing. I was there, obviously, as a speaker. And at the end of the day, we were sitting at the bar, and I was telling you about my vision of Viva, that I've been wanting to grow this young adult community ever since losing my 25-year-old son to suicide, and just had not been able to do it because I didn't know how to do it on my own. And you caught the vision way bigger than I even have right now, and said, let's do this. And so now we're partners, and I'm just so excited because I literally,
What was I thinking that night? What was I thinking that night?
But this is what I tell you now. And I just told you a minute ago. You're here because we get this.
Yeah.
We're on a mission together. And it's going to be changing a lot of lives, and I'm very excited about that. And I literally could not be doing this without you.
And I would have to say that the mission has become a movement. Mm-hmm. So the movement that's about to happen through this nation is going to be crazy.
Right.
I got a chance to go and see a revival recently. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they're all going to gather. And they finally put into our local paper, Jesus owns California.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, ooh, the paper, the local paper posted this, like California belongs to Jesus. Jesus owns California. And I was like, wow, because the movement is taking off, right? The mental health, we keep stepping into these levels where the stress comes on. Right. It comes on to all of us.
Right.
10 years old, 30, the little kids playing freaking the World Series in 8th grade. On television, the stress comes on and we pop out of our bodies.
Yeah.
We forget to go back in external, like let's go back internal. Like we want to go out. We want to look for the other solutions and blame and negativity and all this stuff keeps happening in our society. And really it's just inside of you.
Yeah.
So when you brought this movement up and I sat on it that night, I mean, I didn't jump the first time. I was like, that's a lot of work. Yeah. Am I ready for something like that? That's crazy.
Well, what you said to me was, I've got a program that if you go into this and learn it, you'll be able to do this. And I said to you, well, here's 2 things you need to know about me. 1, I probably won't watch any of the modules. And 2, I was going to need a lot of help, especially with the technology. And you said, no problem. You can lean on me. And 2 months in, you were like, I'm building this for you, right? Yes. I said, I told you that first night.
No, you were totally straightforward. And this is something that I want everyone that's watching the show, that's listening to us right now, is that you're not meant to do anything alone.
Right.
And sometimes you will be alone. And there'll be times in your life where the winter hits. Yeah. The season hits hard.
Yeah.
But God's just preparing you for what's about to happen. You can't go into spring without being prepared for winter, right? Because summer will fly right by.
Right.
The joy will pass. And then there will be another winter, another season that you're going to have to go through. But you've never been through a season in your life that didn't prepare you for the next step. It's just how hard is it to stay in that season and know that there's more for me, right?
Right.
So when I talk about this masterclass I'm teaching, I knew right away the name was Made for More. Because we were all made for more. More everything, more friends, more love, more family, more worthiness, just knowing that where we are now isn't where we will always be.
Right.
Period. You just have to get through the day.
Right.
You just have to live through that moment that says, I will be more. And for me, I have to go internal a lot. And I've had some of the biggest meltdowns anyone could ever see. Like, I was just thinking I was in the green room, and I didn't know Jesus. I didn't know God, I should say. I didn't know God when I was 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. I was still causing trouble, getting put in juvenile hall. I didn't have something to lean on. And then all of a sudden I'm in juvenile hall, and this kid across from me is just reading the Bible every night. He's like, we're doing push-ups and we're getting our little workout on, and he's busting out the Bible and just talking to me about it. And I'm like, where'd this come from, dude? I came from a very poor family, drug addiction, just dysfunctional every single way, right? So when I was introduced to God, I still didn't even pay attention to him until I got into high school. And then I knew that there's this part of me that needed more. Yeah. I need more. I knew at 3rd grade that this isn't what I was supposed to be a part of. This is not why I was born. And I would have to look inside myself and find things that were like, you're a good person, you're confident, and lean into those, because I had no external feeding me. I didn't know God. I didn't have a family unit feeding me. I was losing it on a daily basis and trying to find my own way, so I would be grateful at a young age, 3 years old. I'm grateful I have a pair of tennis shoes. I'm grateful I have a T-shirt. I have a sweater and a jacket. I would start making little lists of things that I currently had that were going to get me to where I wanted to go, because this winter was going to be tough. Right. I remember going into winter with no jacket, like literally knowing that I lived in a town where the snow was 3 feet deep to the school. I had a T-shirt, maybe 3 T-shirts, maybe 2 pairs of pants, and 1 pair of shoe with a hole in it. Yeah. So as I grew into that, I knew that being grateful got me through days, right? Just having gratitude for what I did have. But then more importantly, having the vision of what I wanted. Sometimes the storm that you're in is telling you that this isn't what I want. And as fast as you can identify that, you can leave it. Yeah. You can leave it behind. You can choose not to have it anymore. So you just got to move past that point, right? Yeah.
So many things you just said that I want to touch on. One, I've never heard your testimony before.
We haven't even touched into it.
Right. I knew a little, and I know a little bit about your upbringing, what that was like, but I didn't know how you came to God, and that's a touching story, and I love that.
That wasn't even really when I came. That's when I knew of him. So somewhere in, I'd say 7th or 8th grade, I just had this voice in me like, you can be more. You can do more. This doesn't have to be your life. That's not what you were meant for. And knowing that I was stressing out, and I had other friends who were losing it, right? Their parents were just in the same boats. Our parents were all doing drugs together, small town. And they were like, I can't do this anymore. And I would like, come on, we'll go live in my fort. And we would team up together, right? Because I knew you're not meant to be alone. Nobody is. Right. And there will be a time in your life where you need to be alone to work on yourself, right? Yeah. This is what I was just telling you and Sharon in the green room, was that in order for me to become unstoppable, I had to work on the things that nobody could take from me. Right. Did you know that I can measure just about everything in the world?
Measure meaning like
how
quantitatively?
How smart you are, how strong you are, how good your hearing is, how well you can see, smell, taste. But I can't measure how strong your heart is. And something at that 7th grade year told me, your heart is stronger than anything that will get in your way. And the moment you breathe into those lungs and feel that heartbeat, you will change your circumstances.
Yeah.
So I started stepping into gratitude more and more, like knowing that if I wanted to survive this, if I wanted to be more than what I was currently in my environment's huge, but you can leave environment. You can get up and move to Arizona. I don't know why, but you can.
Yeah.
You don't like where you're at, then move. You're not a tree. You're not planted. And even this morning, as I'm on the plane, I'm reading this thing, and it shows this picture of this tree falling down and 4 other trees growing out of it. So it still was fighting for its life, right? So as we go into these seasons, it's like you can't go external. You got to go in.
Yeah.
You got to find out how strong your heart is, what you were really made for. What do you want in your life that isn't what you currently have? And that's okay to want more. It really is. In every sense of the thing, you were made for more. You were made to have more, be more, love more, be around more people. I mean, even back in the biblical days, right, they brought in tight little communities. That's what we were made for.
Right.
We weren't made to isolate ourselves and go into anxiety and depression and let our brain hear all the lies that are being said and told and laid upon us each day. The moment you step into your heart, you can control the mind and you can speak truth over it and say, I was made for more. And what I'm hearing right now is a lie.
Right.
And those lies happen. Me and you are grown people. We know they happen every single day.
Right.
Imposter syndrome, being afraid to go on that stage, being afraid to save up money, being able to find a new career. All that stuff happens to us.
Right.
But only for a reason, because somewhere in there we're going to find that way. If you think about all the great leaders right now, how many of them went through turmoil, trauma, no education, didn't graduate high school, almost killed themselves, tried to kill themselves. But then they realized that there's more for me than this.
Right.
They reached into their heart and they said, I know. And they didn't go find it from someone else. Someone else didn't just save them. They could reach out to them, but they had to make that choice.
Right.
And any great filmmaker right now, they have a character in that movie, right?
Yeah.
And almost every single one, he has to make a decision, a character moment in that moment in time to be somebody different, to stand up for the girl, to save the dude, to save the world, to save Princess Leia, to save Lois Lane. All these superheroes had to make a decision to be better than what they currently were. Even at that higher level, there's still a new level. Even at the lower level, there's a different level.
Yeah.
But you can't go backwards.
Yeah.
And I know I'm on a tangent now.
No, well, this is great.
Passionate for me.
Yeah. Well, this is why we're working together, because everything you're saying is everything I totally agree with. And the going inward thing, Brandon. So a lot of people, after losing my husband and then my son, so many people tried to give us advice. You need to get counseling. You need to get in this group. You need to do this. You need to go away. Don't sell your house. So many things that was very external.
Yeah.
And I needed to just be quiet for a while. I had to go inward to really figure out, okay, how am I going to get through this? It's where I really got very, very connected with God, using gratitude, even on the days that, and there's still days, I think, how am I going to get through this day? But it's all, for me, been an inward journey. And also trusting the right people showing up that are going to help me along the way, like you.
Yeah.
Right? That's been a big thing. Because I used to be very extroverted. I would be the first one at the party, the last one to leave, talk. And now I'm just not. So much has changed because if it's not an external seed that's feeding the internal and it really lines up, then I just can't.
Because you found the inner. You found the inner.
Right.
So the moment you can step inside yourself and know that relationship with self, right? Mm-hmm. The moment you know your heart is that strong. Yeah. The moment that 10-year-old boy reaches in, that 10-year-old girl reaches in and goes, I am confident. Mm-hmm. My heart is strong. I love people. I love being around people. Or vice versa. I don't want to be around a bunch of people. I just want my one friend. I just want my mom. I want my father. Whatever that one piece is, or I just want the father, right? Yes. No matter what they find for that companionship, that's the strength inside of them. Right. So what did I say? If you want to become unstoppable, Start working on the pieces that no one can take from you. Nobody can take your confidence. They can bleed lies on you. They can scream lies over you, but you have the choice to reflect that. But when you get into your own heart and then you tap into God and let him lay a path, because a lot of us don't know that, like, sometimes we'll have this flash of a dream of us doing something great.
Yeah.
That was the vision path. Now you got to build the steps to get to it.
Right.
You may be stuck in a winter just seeing that vision here going, there it is. I know it's there. I want that. That's what I seen that day. And you're trying to figure out, like, well, but look at my environment. Then step inside.
Right.
Can I share a quick story?
Sure.
So nothing in my life has been rosy and pink. I've had to step into gratitude. I've had to step into knowing what I want. What is that going to do for me, and how can I have that while letting it be not my journey, but just a higher path, right? So, as a kid, I could tell 25 stories before I even hit high school. But then as I got into an adult, I built $1 million companies, and I built speakers, authors, and coaches into big businesses. But then I was watching these advertising agencies and these other things that I was doing just crumble apart because my heart wasn't in it. And at one point I lost everything during the meltdown. So the mortgage industry completely collapsed. I lost millions of dollars, everything I owned, everything I could think of. I was on Xanax, I was taking Vicodin, drinking, and there was just like this 90-day binge of I wasn't worthy. Anybody without that heart may not have made it.
Right.
I was lost as shit, didn't know what I was going to do. But one morning I got up and I knew that I wasn't going to be this. I wasn't going to turn into my mother or my father or anything weird like that. So I had to stop and say, what do I want? What is the vision I see from this point? And all I saw was me raising my kids. So I've told the story before. I'm literally driving down the road and I throw the Xanax out the window like, this is done. It's 10 a.m. in the morning, and I've already had a vodka shot and 2 Xanax. And I'm about to take a Vicodin on the way home, and I'm like, no, I'm done. So I pulled over because the bottle went out the window by the trail. I had to grab the bottle. I didn't want some kid to find it.
Right.
Poured water in it, closed the lid, shook it up, and then like stomped it on the ground and grinded it out, and I quit right then and there. The second time this happened to me, so this is 2008. In 2018, I got hit twice as hard. Like literally had to uproot my family out of a home. Start from ground zero. Mother-in-law had to help. Family members had to help because I went into a funk about 30 days and just, I'm done. I don't know what I'm going to do. I was curled up in a ball. And this band that's out called For King and Country has this song called God Only Knows. So during this turmoil, it was just like a bad business relationship, bad business people, bunch of people cutting throats. I mean, everything was just so negative, and it was like the sinister types of companies. And I was like, I'm a piece of shit. Why am I involved with these people? Why would they have all these problems with each other and want to backstab and fight each other just for money? I want out. But I didn't know how to surrender. And this song comes on, God only knows what they say about you. God only knows what they think about you. And I started just listening to the song, and I realized right then and then, I've stepped away from the Father. I've stepped away from my heart. I've stepped away from my vision. And I got up out of bed. I was sleeping upstairs in a 7,000 square foot home that we're about to lose in my son's bed because he went to school. And I'm like, this is done. This is not what I want for my life, and I'm going to rebuild it. And I came back in and I built the Now Academy. I mean, I almost lost the Now Academy. So I had the Now Academy since 14. In 18, I did all these crazy long visions of business and world domination and millions of dollars, and it just started eating my soul, and my heart was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And I finally just rebuilt it and said, I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it right this time, and I'm going to ask. I'm going to step in, and I'm going to ask what I'm supposed to be doing. And it just always led me right back to what I do now. So from 18, 19, 20, 21, by the time we hit 21, I was 10Xing what I ever did before, ever, in any of the companies. I mean, I built companies to 6-7 million. 10X'd it over here.
Wow.
And just started going for it because I knew now that my heart was still stronger. Nobody could take that from me.
Yeah.
And my heart was stronger than any enemy that was willing to try to attack it. Whether that be a person, place, thing, voice in my head, energy that's coming into my body, I'm able to eject it and go inward. And that's what Viva's about. It's like we're going to teach these tools to really find out what you're made of.
Yeah.
Because nothing's worth you not being on earth. You got plenty of time to be in the atmosphere. You got plenty of time to be in heaven. You need to be here to experience all this emotion, good, bad, sad, ugly, everything. Everything that I went through as a child has made me who I am today. Every loss, every broken family member, every broken death that's happened in my family, drug addiction, all of it's part of me. The teacher that used to smack the shit out of me in the 3rd grade because I was a freaking degenerate, that was a lesson. Should she have done it? Probably not. But, as we know as kids, right?
Well, different time and age, right? But I'm so glad you're saying this, Brandon, because so much of what you're talking about is just choices that you've made and what you didn't want to be and what is possible, no matter what. And I just think it's really comes down to, are you a victim or a victor, right? Which path are you going to take? And I could have done the same thing, you know, totally.
Yeah.
I could have just curled up into a little ball and done nothing.
Yep.
But I know that's not what I was called to do. I knew this before all of this happened to me, actually.
Yeah.
That there was something greater that I was meant to do. And so I walked away from, very high ranked in network marketing to going into speaking and coaching, thinking I was just going to be coaching entrepreneurs forever. And then these 10 years, losing my husband and my son, then I went, okay, this is what I've been being prepared for my whole life, my childhood, my upbringing, all the things.
Yeah.
And I think that's the message, especially young adults need to hear, is that all these things you're going through it's all helping build you to become who you're really supposed to be.
And there was a comedian, Tom Hanks, I think it was. He said, "And this too shall pass."
Yeah. Yes.
And this moment of
right
party time. I remember hitting high school and having kegers and partying. This is the best time of my life.
Yeah.
Guess what? This too shall pass.
Right.
And then there was the time where it was really sad, and I lost my best friend to a motorcycle accident. My other best friend was in the hospital, and I moved back from Oregon, and one's dead and one's almost on lifeline, and this too shall pass.
Right.
It all works the same way, right?
Right.
It will pass as long as you stand back up and keep moving forward. And we know this right now. Like when you finally get to the point where it fills you up, so how's the last 90 days felt for you? Scary,
Yeah.
uncomfortable, but so fulfilling.
Yeah.
So fulfilling.
Yeah.
So when I formed the Now Academy, it wasn't because I wanted to just transfer what I know into other people. I wanted to transfer what I know into other people and watch it come alive in them.
Right.
Not just knowledge, heart,
Right.
gratitude. I can tell you right now, the most powerful tool we have as humans is gratitude.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
The more grateful you are for the moment you're in, the grateful that I have this cup that matches my branding color.
We got that just for
I
you.
know. The next thing that happens in your life is even better.
Yeah.
Because when you're grateful for what you have on a daily basis and just finding gratitude in the simplest things.
Yeah.
Like I remember being in the 6th grade, and I had met my friend Eli, one of my best friends still, and he had this big yellow Independence bag. And I'm like, what's that for? He goes, I keep all my stuff in here nice and neat. Because his family was similar. His dad was drinking a lot and gone all the time, and he was basically raising himself. And I was like, I need that bag. I can't believe you have that bag. I'm thinking I'm hiding my stuff in a cardboard box so that no other tweaker or drug addict would steal it from my house.
Okay.
So then I got this bag, a little black one. And I was so grateful to have this bag. I remember packing it on my bike and riding up to the laundromat and doing my own laundry and washing my clothes and then neatly putting them in there. The 2 pairs of jeans and the 3 shirts, that's what I had. And I was so grateful for it because I knew people who had less. And I would invite them over. And this is one thing I can say about my mom in that time is that even though we were on like government cheese and like welfare, if there's a kid in need, she would make them food. Like she may be spun out of her mind, bad out partying all night and drugs and alcohol, and she'd be there to feed the kids if there was food in the fridge.
Wow.
But when she wasn't home, there was just an echoing dead house with the roof caving in and the bathroom not working or something crazy. But I'd still find the moment that I have a bed, I have this little bag with my stuff in it, and no matter what happened to me at that age, I knew I had to educate myself. I still went to school every morning. Even my teachers would come over and be like, "When you talk to your mom, yeah, she'll be back later." Why I was not taken out of my home year after year after year? Because of the era we lived in, right?
Yeah.
These teachers would come home and leave me there knowing that there's not even a parent or nobody's been in this house in a week.
Wow.
I lived there by myself. So
this explains so much about you, Brandon, because you are that person. And really, truly, going back to our story, when you said you can lean on me a lot, and then it turned out to where you were basically creating this thing for me. I've always wondered, why would he do this? Why would you go so far out on a limb with me, not knowing me, right? This explains a lot.
it does, and you'll know this was a very, very emotional moment for me. I went to the Her Voice movement in LA with my wife. So my wife loves these Christian movements, and I was like, I love conferences. Let's go check it out. And I mean, I was blown back. Imagine what we do in personal development, right? We get up there, we give them strategic moves on how to grow their lives, how to get out of the mental state that they're in. Well, these women were coming up and they were doing it on a Christian base. How to find your way into God, how to get your way into the school system, how to get your way and say our kids matter. And they were fighting for all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, one of the gentlemen came up there and said, I don't really want to know what your relationship with God is right now, but I want to ask you a question. Can you recall a time when God stepped in somewhere and you now know it was him? And I literally had an emotional breakdown that whole night. It was Valentine's Day weekend too, so we were going to dinner that night. And I literally, as he's saying this, God had brought this kid into my life who was 4 years older than me, a total Indian kid, fighter, beat up everybody, angry. Dad had committed suicide. Mom was a biker. He beat up everybody in town. He didn't care if you were 20, 25. This little 15-year-old kid could kick anybody's butt. And he became my bodyguard almost, my best friend. He lived 2 blocks up. We'd ride bikes together, build bikes together, fight, break into houses, live in summer homes. We did everything crazy in the world. But all of a sudden I had this partner. And then later on in life, a couple of years later, this kid's going in and out of juvenile hall. I'm saying I don't want to be that kid. I don't want to get in this kind of trouble. Again, finding my heart. Yeah. And then I meet another child. And I meet Eli. And Eli's like, let's start snowboarding. I'm like, how are we going to do that? I remember scotch guarding my 501 jeans and wearing a pair of tennis shoes the first times I hit Kirkwood. Could you imagine being in Kirkwood in a pair of tennis shoes riding down the snow? But this kid came into my life, and God showed me I put this gentleman, this Indian kid, Joey, in your life. Because he took care of you, and he took you fishing, and we were like best friends. And then Eli, and then my friend Jimmy, and then my friend Ben. So throughout my whole growing up, all the way into high school, I had these men in my life that were, almost all of them were, except for Eli, me and Eli are the same age. The rest of them were about 3 years older than me. So they were kind of like my mentors, just teaching me how to not go external, like don't worry about what your house looks like or what's happening in your life or the shower doesn't work, the power bill's turned off. Let's focus on, we got a fishing pole. Let's go fishing. And I'd be like, all right. And then I would go to school. And I remember one day after this little incident, I come to school and I'm like covered in mud. My feet, my shoes are dirty. My ankles have brown dirt on them. And this kid comes over and he's like, what is wrong with you, dude? How do your parents let you come to school like that? And I was like, go away. I don't need to hear from you. I went fishing all morning, blah, blah, blah. But I knew I was already kind of in my groove where I didn't need that external recognition. Yeah. But I remember how long that hurt me. Just that one morning it was a little more dramatic than I'm explaining to you. Yeah. But I remember that, and then I realized I got to start taking better care of my body, not just my mind and my heart. And I started pulling into the next level of it. And then I met Eli, and Eli was the kid with a nice bag. The clothes were all folded. He would go mow lawns to buy the new independent skateboard T-shirts. And then all of a sudden I started caring about my personal appearance. And that wasn't until the 6th grade. Yeah. So everybody comes into your life for a reason. And I think you'll know just from being in my community, it's not just you, right? Yeah. Maybe you're pushing me a little bit. But all of them, I'm there.
But you have such a heart. That's what I'm talking about, Brandon.
If I have a moment and it helps someone else, I'm all in.
You are. Yeah. And more. So the big vision we have for Viva together, pulling in master classes. Talk a little bit about the master class that you'll have in there, the Made for More.
So I'm going to take through steps. So Made for More will basically be broken down to practical things that you can actually do.
Okay.
So like I was telling you earlier, I have a book called High Impact Habits coming out. It's not this complex thing. It's broken down into very simple vision, gratitude, action. When you get those things working, all the rest of it starts to compound. It's crazy that when you actually start rooting for yourself and going internal for yourself, the universe will conspire to help you have more. And that's what these vision masterclasses are going to be about. We're teaching you something that is going to move you 1%, just 1% a day. It's not that you don't have to have this dramatic growth pattern. It's okay if you lose a year. It's okay if this next 2 months is freaking hell, because there's more for you on the other side. So the master class is going to be a practical application.
Right.
Like right off the bat, you're going to get a 28-day gratitude journal, like how to actually step into gratitude for yourself. And that way you can just map it for 28 days. Whether you do anything else but that one powerful tool will change your life.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we'll start giving you some other stuff like, hey, let's see how your vision looks now. Now that you're grateful, what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you see happening in your life? I was just sitting here and I had lunch at this place, and I believe the lady was his aunt, because the way they were talking, it wasn't a mother and a son.
Okay.
But he said, I'm really missing this piece of my friend, because all he wants to do is play video games and DoorDash. He makes enough money to buy sodas, and he's driving for DoorDash at night so he can come back and play his video games. And he's a doctor now. So the gentleman sitting next to the lady is a doctor.
Okay.
I'm just listening while I'm eating my lunch. She's about to come down here. And she says, well, just give him grace. Pray for him. He will find his vision. And the kid was like, look, I mean, the kid has got to be 28. He's a doctor, right?
Yeah. And
because I know he's a doctor because they're sharing information about it. And I was just like, she's totally right. This aunt was saying, give him grace, pray for him, let him, it will happen. Whatever he's going through right now, it's because he's not ready for the next chapter. And that's okay. Yeah. It's freaking okay. Yeah. There are so many times where I could have given up. Yeah. Just literally, I could have been done, right? Yeah. This is the end. I'm just going to be a bum. Yeah. I'll just do some drugs. I'll just be a drug addict. Yeah. And believe me, there was it's 8th grade year. I could have been a methamphetamine addict, but I turned it out and said, no, I'm not. That's not me. Right. I'll just smoke some weed. I don't need that shit. You know what I mean? So funny. Yes. But it's like my son, he's 20 years old and he's smoking pot, and my wife's freaking out about it. And I said, thank the Lord that he's not doing methamphetamines, that he's not on heroin, he's not doing these pills. And will he break out of the weed? Everyone does. You hardly meet people who are still smoking pot in their 80s. Willie Nelson.
Well, there's the hope, right?
But he's got a passion. He's already following that passion. So if he wants to smoke a little weed at the river, I'm cool with it. You want to go fishing? Cool. But you'll find your thing, but you can't go backwards. This morning I was just listening to the Atomic Habits on the plane, and it said you have these choices to get 1% better each year or 1% worse. And then right when he said that, I thought of Jerry Rice's quote. Why wouldn't you give it 100% if the choice is 100% yours? Why wouldn't you aim for 1% each day when it's your choice, no one else's? They can't take it from you. You'll become unstoppable when you work on the things that people can't take from you. Nobody can take your gratitude. Yeah. No matter what they say, you could be grateful for them just pointing it out. You can be grateful in so many things. And one of my favorite quotes is, Tony Robbins says, if you fill yourself full of gratitude, you'll have no more room for the bullshit. And I totally hacked his quote. But that's what I got out of it. When I heard it, I was like, he's totally right. The more grateful you are for just having a clean pair of underwear. Yeah. Mom made me breakfast. My son will come out sometimes and be totally pissed off that the breakfast isn't what he wanted. And I look at him and go, there could have been nothing here. And he'll literally register it real quick and go, Mom, thank you for breakfast. Sorry. He recognizes immediately.
Yeah, well, he should, because
he's external.
He's your son.
He's external. Yeah. But when my son goes internal, his heart is 10 times bigger than me. Yeah. 10 times stronger than mine.
Like I said, Brandon, you are.
Oh, we blew the clock.
I mean, truly, that is why you're here, why we're doing this together. And I could not be more grateful for that, right?
I would have to extend that gratitude to you because there's always been a hole inside of me, and this is going to help fill it. This is something I've been wanting to give back. I wanted to go into juvenile halls. I'm thinking that'll be next. I got to hear Damon West speak about the prison system and the coffee bean. I mean, this gentleman got 60 years, got paroled or somewhere around 7, and is changing life by life by life by having you look at yourself and say, I can change anything.
Yeah.
I can change my whole entire environment. So this right here is a huge movement for me in general. But your heart is bigger for this, and mine is going to grow into it with you.
No.
So I want to thank you too.
Thank you. I don't want to get emotional.
Yeah, I want you to.
No.
Just one little tear.
It doesn't. I don't do the cry pretty thing. I go down, and it's bad. So, but
yeah.
I appreciate the sentiment.
And here's in closing one, like the more you get into it, the more it's okay to let that tear out. Like I've cried more in the last 10 years than I did my whole entire life.
Yeah, me too.
Because something's filling me up. This is not a podcast. This is not just a membership area. This is a movement that's going to change and save lives. And how I know this is every person I talk to about it is like, I'm all in.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
in. Let's go.
Right? Me
I
too.
love it.
Well, thank you, Brandon. I knew this was going to be fun, inspiring, insightful. Just it feels so good with what we're doing.
Well, this is 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So think about 30 minutes every week, having access to all of us every single day.
Yeah.
And it's not just us, right? There's over 25 leaders in there who have been through some shit.
Yeah. Yes, a lot of experts, and it will continue to grow. Do the coaching with the young adults, which is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
So thank you. I appreciate you coming all the way here to hot Arizona to do this podcast with me.
I wanted to be in studio. On the virtual one, I would have talked the whole time. Wait, I did talk the whole time.
Well, I have tricks. So anyway, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode. And as we've mentioned, we are building we have a new term that we are using that came out of the mouths of a young adult gentleman that I interviewed here on the podcast. We feel like we are growing a new league of superhumans. So, I mean, I get goosebumps when I think about that and talk about that. So I want you all to take a look at Vision is Victory Academy. The link is in the show notes here, and it's just visionisvictoryacademy.com. We would love to have you join us, and I want to just keep reminding you to keep looking up. Design the life you've always dreamed of with Viva, Vision is Victory Academy. Join us and discover how to transform your vision into victory. Whether you're seeking clarity, resilience, or a path to personal growth, Viva is here to guide you every step of the way. Don't wait for life to happen to you. Make it happen with Viva. Sign up today at visionisvictoryacademy.com and take the first steps towards a life of purpose and passion. Your future self will thank you.